Our course is targeted mainly at students who have completed a major in a language discipline. Students in our course can only study one language at a time. That's an important distinction to make. But if you think about doing an undergraduate degree in a language and emerging out of that degree at one of the higher levels, that's about the proficiency level that we require for the course. A lot of people potentially mix up the definition of interpreting and translation. Translation is the written transfer of one language to another, and translation can embody various different text types, various different types of translation. So within the course we start off with fairly generic informative texts to translate, and then we move through various degrees of speciality, looking at legal text, medical text. We have quite a lot of fun with literary translation, specifically children's literary translation.
Interpreting is providing translation in a verbal context, which is pretty simultaneous or consecutive sometimes, but it's not from a written text, it's from what people say. So interpreting can be divided in different fields and domains, if you want. Of course, we need interpreters in what we call the community interpreting field, which is more public service interpreting in hospitals, in courts, in police offices and stations. We also need interpreters in business meetings, which we call generally liaison interpreting. Students have about 6 to 8 hours of learning or courses every week. They attend lectures in English which are generally dedicated to theory or applied theory of interpreting studies. Then they are placed in language-specific groups when they learn the different techniques of dialogue interpreting, consecutive interpreting, or simultaneous interpreting in the booth. We organize a lot of mock situations where we organize mock trials, mock conferences, mock business meetings, where every participant, which means every student, has a role to play.
It is a fairly unique program in Australia because it's very flexible in its structure, and it combines an academic stream and a professional stream, which allows the students really to choose where they want to go in the course of their study. So some students opt to take the more professionally oriented units, and they are students who have an interest in going straight into the field and working as interpreters or translators in the various non-literary domains usually, so legal, health, government, business-oriented sectors. Whereas we have students who are interested in doing they're interested in pursuing research careers, and they will take more typically the translation stream with a research focus.
We do offer within the program the opportunity for students to study abroad, and this comes in the form of our double masters program, which is currently being offered with a university in France, in Lyon. So students will complete 1 year of their studies in Australia at Monash and then move on to France for their second year of study, and at the end they come out with a double degree, so a double masters. This double masters is a model that we are now trying to get up and running in various other countries.
Well, I think it's a really important thing for someone wanting to become a professional translator to live in a country that speaks the language that they're going to be translating, that they're going to be working in, because it gives us more experience in that language. It gives us a chance to boost our language skills in French. It also gives us some experience of culture, which is really, really important in translation and in bridging that gap between cultures. Cultural knowledge is just as important as linguistic knowledge.
One of the advantages with Monash is that they run a language exchange program where they match you up with somebody from that country and you get to meet with them weekly. And also, well, as often as you like, just as a social thing. And I found that's been really good for me to keep up my Japanese, because there aren't as many opportunities to speak it here.
My experience here not only let me learn about different cultures, about their traditions, their languages, but I think it also gave me the chance to reflect on my own culture. And because growing up in Japan, you don't really, you're not really conscious of what Japanese culture is, but by doing translation and interpreting and, you know, always comparing the two cultures and the languages, I think it gave me the chance to look at my culture from a very new perspective, and I think that was a very good experience for me.
We have different difficulties in translation. It's related closely to our culture and language aspects. For example, if we translate it raining cats and dogs, I can't translate word for word into Chinese, otherwise people don't understand. So there's a lot to learn.
In the program, we are required to do both research and to attend seminars, lectures and workshops to practice interpreting and translation. Also, we are required a minimum of 80 hours practicum in both streams, and so we go to hospitals, courtrooms, and legal aid services centers.
It gives the students, first of all, obviously the real life experience of what it's like to work in this sector, but it also enables the work providers to get a good sense of how we're preparing students for the workplace at Monash, and we've managed to establish excellent relationships with a number of different agencies who will take students to be professional interpreters or translators, but also with the government sector.
We have a brand new lab here, which is a brand new language lab using a new environment and mixing different types of technology, where it's very easy for us to show students different things using new digital technology. So that's one thing. We have on another campus a new setting as well for conference interpreting, for simultaneous interpreting, with new booths actually where students will be trained to simultaneous interpreting with, again, the state-of-the-art technology. I think that interpreting for a doctor and a patient is as difficult as interpreting in a booth during a conference. It's all about communication, it's all about mediating, it's all about acting as a bridge for people who can't communicate without you, so that's really enriching for the interpreter, definitely.